salutations to the nations. What's good, Angel Knots? It's your boy, Young Sinai.
Angel Knot.
All right, so this is Nuts for Nintendo. It was a special on ABC News 2020 from 1988. The person to post this is Stephen Hartz. All right, yo, so let's go ahead and check this out.
We don't know how to free Zelda, but we do know why kids love them and critics hate them. John Stossel reports, Nuts for Nintendo, when 2020 continues.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games. They first arrived from Japan 3 years ago, and now millions of American kids are hooked and mesmerized. When they do stop to talk, it's in a language only they understand. Well, John Stossel went out to discover the secret of Nintendo's success, but first he had to find one.
New York City, early in the morning, before
If he couldn't find one, he should have just bought one on eBay.
the toy stores open, they're lined up outside. I'm in line too because the director of 2020 said, Stossel, I hate to ask, but you've got to help me get my kid a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2. This man came all the way from Indiana to get one. He came 1,000 miles just for this game?
Yes. I've done
1,000 miles to get Super Mario. And it's worth it, okay?
stores a day for 3 weeks now. I cannot find it.
I have to live with my kids for the rest of the year, so I have to have this on Christmas Day.
So to please the kids, they line up at the few stores that have been able to get copies of the hottest Nintendo games, Mario 2 and The Adventure of Link.
I have Super Mario Brothers 2.
Now, what's Nintendo, you ask, and why should you care? Well, I think it's something you should know about because it's captured America's children. School bus drivers report that
If they ain't know about it, they was gonna know.
kids are talking less about clothes and sports and what Joe did to Jane, and more about
When you get to those things that go up and down, you just jump on them.
after school, even on the day that brings the first beautiful snowfall of the season. Everyone's eager to get inside the house so they can rush to get to the television set. Now, usually they don't play together. We invited them to an
Is this like real or is this like a reenactment? Because this all looks too perfect.
Nintendo party.
Like, look at
They
this.
pop the cartridge into
Look at this.
the first beautiful snowfall of the
That is a beautiful snowfall, like he said.
season. Everyone's eager to get inside the house.
And all them kids run into the same house. I don't know. This seems a little too manufactured to me.
So they can rush to get to the television set. Now, usually they don't play together. We invited them to a Nintendo party.
Oh, okay. I was like,
They pop the cartridge into this deck, which attaches to any television set. These controls direct the characters. The better your eye-hand coordination, the better you do. Never has there been a toy that's been this successful. Bruce
it's so funny that I don't even think of video games as a toy, but I mean, essentially that is what it is.
Apar is editor of a magazine that follows the industry.
How big a hit is this?
This is as big or bigger than anything the toy industry has ever seen. I'll give you one comparison. Barbie, which is an institution, does about $500 million a year. Nintendo does over 3 times as much.
Wow.
Now, why is it so successful? Well, the people in the industry say Nintendo simply has the best games. They come in 2 categories.
And that's what they say to this day, you know? Not everybody agrees. I don't necessarily agree with that. But, I mean, Nintendo has a track record of making good games.
Categories. Sports games such as tennis, hockey, football, boxing. All with good graphics and sound effects. Even more popular are the adventure games like Super Mario.
They definitely make some of the greatest games of all time. I don't know it. That's really hard to think. Like Pokemon, you know, Mario, Zelda. These are like games in my top 10. You know, I don't know if they are my top 5, but they're in the top 10.
Mario. They tend to have ludicrous plots. Mario is an Italian plumber who, under your control, enters the Mushroom Kingdom to fight off killer turtles and deadly ducks until he can rescue the Princess Toadstool. The kids love it.
What's good about it?
Birdo. He shoots the eggs out of his nose. And also there's this part where you can't go anywhere.
My kid said that that's Yoshi's cousin.
Except for fall down a pit, but you pick up this thing and this rocket appears out of nowhere and it flies to another board. It's weird.
It's like,
and it's a
big,
like,
you would have had to been there.
improvement over the first video games like Atari's Pong and Space Invaders. Because today's computer chips are better. They have more memory.
There's much more involved in playing the game, much more excitement. There's better use of colors, better use of music. It's not just stick figures anymore.
We have literally over 100 different characters, people, animals, wizards, spells. You see this spread out over different worlds. When I say different worlds, entirely different sets. If you think about the way a movie is produced, there are levels with caverns, and you break into underground oceans.
There are secret holes that you go into.
The kids delight in finding new twists to the games, secret passages they didn't discover the first times they played. Bizarre new weapons.
You're throwing things that I've never even discovered in this game.
Yeah, because you don't know. If you're a grown-up, you hardly do this. If you're a grown-up, you have work to do.
Dang! He went off on that dude. He said, yo, we kids, we bout that life. You grown up lame, get out of here. Why are you even here?
Now, the chips, the technology that goes into this was invented in the United States. Yet, the Japanese are the ones who make it a hit. Why is that?
Nintendo is a 100-year-old company in Japan, and they learned their lessons well.
When buyers lost interest in the first generation of video games about 4 years ago, Nintendo quietly watched as American companies quit the business. Nintendo then bought licenses to the best of the arcade games. They created new games by getting independent designers to compete against each other for the right to work with Nintendo.
Nintendo, please hold.
One moment.
Thank you. May I help you?
And in Seattle, at the company's U.S. headquarters, they listened to the customers. 50,000 people call Nintendo's 800 number every week asking for help with the games. Phones are manned by games fanatics who...
That's so crazy. Could you imagine you just working in a cubicle, but instead of just sitting there like doing a spreadsheet, you got like an NES and a NES pew pew. Like, man, that's crazy.
Who often play other games while answering questions.
What that is, when you're at that link, though, you're almost at that point.
Okay, what you want to do is, like I said, jump on the guy with the carpet.
In Japan, the games are an even bigger success. These people are upset because even after waiting all night, they were unable to get their kids a new version of a game called Dragon Quest.
Oh, I'd be heated if I waited all night for something from my kid. Forget if it's a game or whatever it is. If I waited all night outside and then it was not available, oh my gosh, man. Thank God we live in the time of the internet.
In the U.S., it's mostly Mario that they want.
The last Super Mario Bros. 2 was just sold.
Wow.
They get upset.
Oh,
Can you take my name? Can you take my
saw the
credit card,
disappointment in her face.
My kid wants it. His friend has it, and they're not friends anymore because he doesn't have it.
All this makes me wonder,
wow.
Is the shortage real, or are they holding
that
back
old
supplies to increase the mystique? Coleco denies it, but industry insiders say that's exactly what happened with their Cabbage Patch doll a few years ago. The company shipped fewer dolls to increase the excitement. Today, some people in the toy business suspect Nintendo's holding games back. And while videotaping in Japan, we did see plenty of the hard-to-get cartridges. The company denies that it's holding back.
Believe me, creating a shortage
Yeah, because you can believe Nintendo.
of this kind was nobody's design, and
That was sarcasm for those who might not have caught it.
it's just one of those combinations of demand that far exceeded our most optimistic projections and an inability on the chip supplier to fulfill it.
Now you really messed up. You're out.
All this brings us to a final question. Should parents buy these games at all? The National Coalition Against Television Violence thinks they shouldn't because they say they're bad for kids.
Like I like how you shoot the people with boomerangs and bombs.
Ooh-wee. They have no idea what's coming. Oh my gosh. They are getting scared because their kids are throwing boomerangs at people. Wait till they see Manhunt.
I just like jumping on things and killing them and shooting things.
The coalition says this will make some kids act violently. Well, I don't know about that, but there's another problem. Watching the kids play, seeing the intensity of their interest, the word obsession comes to mind.
I bet I'm much better than him at Zelda.
How many hours you play a day?
Around 1 or 2.
2 hours a night.
That's not so bad.
Shouldn't be doing your homework.
Yeah. She doesn't like
This
get your homework done, kid.
girl's mother doesn't like the game.
because she thinks that you're going brain dead while you're watching it.
Maybe you will be brain dead from staring at this thing all the time.
No.
Meanwhile, they filming a news report to go on TV, and people be brain dead from watching TV all day. Shoot, y'all brain dead from watching me on YouTube. We all gonna be brain dead.
And while we were talking, Mom was watching all this.
Ooh, she
warily.
look heated.
Gets their mind off school when they first come home from school, but then it gets their mind totally off school. So we had to take it away for a while because homework wasn't getting done, bedtime got pushed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You have control over if your kids can play the games. Like, my kids are young and they play the game, but when it's too much, it's too much. I take them all away. I do not care. I still be playing the games though. One time I told my kids no games today, and I was like, no games for everybody. And then, like, I'm not going. Halfway through the day, I was like, why did I put myself on punishment? Like, I didn't do nothing. The heck? That was the last time I did that.
Aside.
What do you mean take it away for a while?
I disassembled it and put it in the back of a closet for a
Good
while.
for her.
But now you're letting them play
Good mom.
Not as much.
John, what's your feeling after watching this? Does it make them, brain...
Is that Barbara Walters? Is that Barbara Walters? I'm so bad at, like, recognizing celebrities. If that's Barbara Walters, she's so young here.
Dad, as you said, isn't there a certain amount of imagination that you have to use for this game?
I think that's true, that it's not just like watching television. You have to use imagination. There are all these ways to handle the games. I think under the right time limits, it's fine.
They gamers. They undercover gamers.
In fact, I got one while doing the story. And
What'd I tell you? That's so dope.
I'm going to keep it.
For you, or would you give it to your child?
Heck
my
no.
3-year-old likes kill ducks, and my wife and I stayed up
You ain't gonna give it to the kids? Like, get your own. I don't care if you're 3 or not.
till midnight playing it.
And you don't mind the so-called violence in it? Kill ducks, kill ducks?
They're animated characters, and I just think you have to pay attention and limit the time, and it's fine.
Now I know how you're spending the holidays, watching
right.
Nintendo.
Sounds like a great parent to me.
Playing Nintendo.
Playing Nintendo. Good job. Now on to a much more serious report.
Dang, I wonder what that more serious report was. Dang, they got me interested. All right, y'all. So that was that. I thought that was I thought that was very interesting. They have no idea what is to come if they think that duck hunt is violent. Well, all right, y'all. I appreciate you tuning in, and salutations to the nations.
Angel Knot.